In March of this year, sales of yeast in the US grew by 647%. According to Business Insider, in a matter of 1 week, specifically March 14th to March 21st, the sales for basic baking yeast skyrocketed. But why? The answer is bread. Bread is a food that is full of carbs, which gives us a sense of comfort. It also has a wonderful aroma that makes everyone feel at home. So it's no wonder that during the COVID outbreak, while everyone was stuck at home, we looked for some comfort in carbs. Ever since this year, baking bread has been one of my new favorite hobbies. During quarantine, it was a new thing to do that was quite easy and had an outcome that made all of the hard work and waiting worth it. Everyone at some point in their life has eaten bread. Whether it was the main ingredient to your sandwich, something to dip into your soup, or your buttered toast that you have every morning. The great part about making your own bread is that it's rewarding in more ways than one. For one, you get a delicious loaf of bread that you can enjoy, and you also get the satisfaction of knowing that you made something for yourself that you can enjoy. I will be explaining how to gather the right ingredients, how to mix and knead your bread, and how to know when your bread is ready to bake. Let's start with the most important thing: finding the proper ingredients and tools that are needed to make your bread. Most importantly, you will need flour. According to Bread Baking 101, you can use one of 4 flours in your bread: all-purpose flour, bread flour, whole wheat flour, and white whole wheat flour. You can use any of these flours, but my personal favorite is simple all-purpose flour. Secondly, you will need yeast, warm water, and sugar. I stated these ingredients together because you will need to combine them in a separate measuring cup or bowl until they get foamy. You will need warm, not hot water, because if your water is too hot, you can kill your yeast, which is the stuff that makes your bread rise, so it's kind of important. You will also need to use active, dry yeast, which is the most common yeast used in bread making. And lastly, the sugar. The sugar adds flavor to your bread, but most importantly, it feeds your yeast, which means it helps it foam faster when added to the warm water and yeast mixture. The last ingredient that is necessary in your bread is salt. Salt is used for the exact reason you're probably thinking: flavor. Salt is mainly used to add flavor to your bread. For your tools, you will need either a sheet pan or a Dutch oven to bake your bread in or on, extra flour to dust over the top of your bread to help it not stick to your counter, and a sharp knife to score the top of your bread. Once you've gathered all of your ingredients and tools, we're ready to combine them. To begin, you will need to combine your warm water, yeast, and sugar in a measuring cup or small bowl. You will want to set this mixture aside for about 5 to 10 minutes. This will ensure that your yeast activates. When your yeast activates, it will be very easy to tell because your mixture will foam and rise. Once your yeast mixture is ready, you will want to add flour to your mixer, or if you don't have a mixer, straight to the counter. Then you're going to add your yeast mixture to the flour and then start kneading. Once you've started kneading your dough, continue until it all comes together. If it's too sticky, add an 1/8 cup more flour until it's the right consistency. Once your bread dough is ready, place it into a large, lightly greased bowl with saran wrap over the top. Let your dough rise in a warm place until your dough has doubled in size. Once your dough has risen, it's time to bake your bread. Turn your dough onto a lightly floured surface so it doesn't stick, and gently form it into a ball. Be sure not to move your dough too much, or else all the air bubbles in your bread are going to pop. Then, place your dough onto either your Dutch oven or baking sheet and score your bread with a sharp knife. Scoring is taking a sharp knife and putting slits into your dough so that it doesn't explode in the oven. Place the baking sheet or Dutch oven into a 425-degree oven for about 20 minutes, or until your bread is golden brown. Once it's done, remove the bread from the oven, let it cool, and then enjoy a slice of your hard work with butter and jam. Today, I explained the steps to making bread. I explained which tools and ingredients you'll need and why. I explained how to combine your ingredients to make the dough, and I explained how to bake the dough to make your bread, remembering to score your bread to avoid an explosion. Bread is a comforting food that almost everyone enjoys, but when you've put in the work and made it for yourself, it makes it so much more rewarding.